Hello everyone, and welcome to the Halloween Countdown. That's fun. If it's in a word, if it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. Holy bubble and squeak, what the heck did I just watch? So, the Babadook is an Australian film, and it is a psychological, supernatural horror movie, and I love my psychological horror movies. It's actually been a long time since I've watched a really good psychological horror movie that didn't do a really stupid M. Night Shyamalan twist ending. This movie was friggin' intense. It says brace yourself on the actual box. Still did not prepare myself properly for this. So, the story is about a mother and son, and even before the supernatural stuff and the psychological... well, even before the Babadook shows up, rather, you can already tell this is a very troubled family. The mother has been going through huge, untreated postpartum depression, going on 7 years now. And the son is very troubled, has a lot of behavioral issues, and doesn't really surprise me when you see how very little the mom seems to pay attention to him. By the way, this is one of those few movies where a kid is presented as smart, and it's both believable and not annoying. I'm looking at you, Jurassic World. Now, he's smart in that with a mom that has no supervision on him whatsoever. He actually has managed to make various inventions and does really good magic tricks. And has managed to order illegal things off of the internet. So, smart. But when you're making a homemade crossbow with darts and wood, you realize there's something really not good going on here. And the boy has this huge fear of monsters, and the mom gets, no sleep, especially recently, because he's screaming and can't seem to get to sleep because he's so scared of monsters getting him. And right away, you can tell her feelings towards him. That first night where he's not feeling well, he wants her to stay, she stays in bed with him, and then as soon as he's fully asleep, instead of just moving back to her room, she shifts on the bed until there's a good 2 feet between them and curls up away from him. And that one scene says a lot right there. And the further you go into this movie, the further disturbing it gets as to how many problems this family has. And again, this is all before the Babadook shows up. Now, the Babadook actually shows up pretty quickly. They read a book that the boy finds on his shelf, and it's called Mr. Babadook. And the mom stops reading it almost instantly because she's flipping through the pages and she sees that it has dark and graphic imagery and is actually a horror book. So she takes the book and she puts it up on a high shelf, and it's already too late. The boy is freaking out over this new monster in his brain called the Babadook. And then just one after another, it's just problem after problem after problem. And slowly, the mom is being forced to decide whether or not the Babadook is real. And this movie gets very metaphoric. It's very heavy on the metaphors. I think my favorite one was when the book reappears. At this point, she is, like, shredded the book up, it reappears, and now it says in the book, I'll make you a wager, I'll make you a bet. The more you deny, the stronger I get. Which, to anyone with mental illness, or anyone who knows someone with mental illness, that is very symbolic and metaphoric right there. Because a lot of untreated illnesses have to do with people denying that they have them and not getting the proper help. Whether or not the Babadook is indeed real, though, I'm gonna let you guys find out for yourselves. But I will say, very satisfying ending for sure. And very satisfying ending, and a little bit too real for me at times. I grew up with a pretty happy family life, but I've known people and I've heard stories and news stories about families that actually go through this stuff. Like, this feels like a real family. This feels like stuff that would actually happen. And there's a few moments where it actually was really hard for me to watch the screen because I just felt so irked out by knowing that this kind of stuff, the things that this boy has to deal with and this mom has to deal with, can actually happen. On top of all the Babadook stuff. I was super stoked to watch this movie. I found out about it way before the trailer came out, but I kept myself as spoiler-free as possible. And I think the only thing I actually did pay attention to with the news is I saw some of the pictures from the book, and just from looking at the book, I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks like it's going to be a really good horror movie, just from looking at these images. It probably is one of the most disturbing horror movies I've seen because of how real it gets. The most disturbing is still The Exorcist. No contest. But the Babadook, that took me a while to process after it finished playing. There is quite a lot of gore, especially near the end. It's actually very disturbing watching the mom slowly slip further and further into her own illness and her own problems that she has. And I can't even, I won't give away the ending. Watch it, guys. Just watch it, okay? It was friggin' terrifying, and I loved every bit of it. Also, I figure I should just put this warning out. There is some animal murder in said movie. Figured I'd just give you guys a warning, because no one gave me a warning, and that wasn't fun to watch. That wasn't fun to watch at all. Now, I was actually pretty impressed with the effects because there weren't that many effects used. The majority of the actual scares is the tension and the very real-life things that are going on. But the way that the Babadook, for instance, is portrayed throughout the movie was very well done because it keeps him as mysterious as possible, while also making him incredibly terrifying. And there's actually a few moments of this movie that I thought that both the mom and the son were suffering from sleep paralysis along with everything else, like the sleep problems they were having, the nightmares, and there were times where they were like frozen in bed while they were dreaming, and very much what happens in sleep paralysis. I've had it. It is not fun. And again, one of those things that were a little bit too real for me. And so, take this movie's advice when you watch it. Embrace yourself. I'm the SlugLady, and that was the Babadook. Holy crap. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, fave, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.